Welcome back to U.S. History. This is the last video from week 6. So please make sure that you've gotten all your homeworks, your 2 quizzes for chapter 23 all done, and put them in your packet ready to turn in. You'll be getting one more assignment given today at the end of this video. But, to make up for it, I promise that this video will be a little bit on the shorter side. You may have noticed I added another video that I found on YouTube. It was MLK's I Have a Dream speech. So if that interests you, just to see how large the crowds were, or maybe how MLK sounded when he gave his speech, a bit of history there, now more than 50 years later. But we're at letter D. We're finishing up the notes today. What was religion like during this time period? The fact of the matter was, this is a growth in religion. Unfortunately, it was a bland public piety. After World War II, more Americans went to church. In fact, over 60% of the population, more so than had been beforehand. Yet religious belief for many was only skin deep. President Eisenhower himself once said, "Our government makes no sense unless it is founded in a deeply felt religious faith, and I don't care what it is." A growth in bland public piety. During the 1950s, we have the phrases, "one nation under God" and "in God we trust" assigned to our nation. The first phrase was added to the Pledge of Allegiance in 1953. The second phrase was required on all U.S. currency. Yes, I believe those are both good things. But again, what was the purpose? Who is God to many people? Well, God is different for a lot of different people. Yet we believe in only one true God. Another individual who came up with some ideas during this time promoted the power of positive thinking. It was written by a guy named Norman Vincent Peale. Peale is spelled Peale. He was a leading liberal Protestant minister. This book taught how to be happy with psychological therapy rather than biblical value. It proved soothing for the time, but ultimately unsatisfying. Also, we see the growth of the ecumenical movement. Definition of ecumenical movement is to promote a movement to promote greater unity among professing Christians. I probably put professing Christians in quotation marks. The goal was to unite Christian denominations. They emphasized unity and de-emphasized doctrine. True unity involves spiritual unity built on God's truth, but all they wanted was the name unity applied to them. We also see a growth in conservative Christian fundamentalism. The fundamentalists of the 1920s continued in the 1950s. Although generally ignored by the media and the religious establishment, fundamentalist Protestants expanded through large local churches and evangelistic ministries. Charles E. Fuller's old-fashioned revival hour on the radio preached the gospel to millions. Youth for Christian ministries began for teens. World War II veterans felt a burden for foreign missions and became missionaries to distant lands. Probably the most well-known still individual who came out of the 1950s religious era was Billy Graham. Billy Graham was a popular evangelist. He became the center of dispute between fundamentalism and liberalism. So just need to know he was a popular evangelist. He became the center of dispute between fundamentalism and liberalism. Out of all this, out of Billy Graham and other groups, we have the rise of two forms of Christianity. Two forms that are still around today, evangelicals and fundamentalists. When Graham accepted the sponsorship of liberal Protestants in a New York City crusade, some Christians decided to split with him. Those who supported Graham's actions were called New Evangelicals, or simply Evangelicals. They believed it would help bring fundamentalism into the mainstream of public life and allow it to build bridges to liberal Christianity. So evangelicals, basically the idea is they were more willing to work with liberals in order to spread the gospel. Those who opposed Graham's actions continued as fundamentalists. They opposed compromising their faith with unbelieving liberals. Further divisions in the U.S. would only increase during the 1960s. That's all the material that we're going to cover for today. I know that, my students, is the end of the notes. For your homework, it's pages 141 to 142 in your activities book. That assignment actually has to do with the civil rights movement. It was the integration at Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. So I want you to read the information, answer the 3 questions on 141, and then continue reading on page 142 and answer the other 3 questions. So make sure that you do that homework. So you have 2 homeworks and 2 quizzes assigned for this week. Hope you all have a good day. Hope you all have a good weekend. Be good, do good. Bye.